The city of Lake Point shimmered in the early winter light, a blend of towering ambition and worn-down charm. Snow was falling steadily, softening the edges of buildings and muffling the rush of traffic. Allison tightened her jacket against the chill as she walked to the law school, juggling a coffee mug and a bag bursting with case files. She was trying not to think about her little sister's parting shot that morning. "Must be nice to sit in class all day while the rest of us actually deal with life." Their relationship had been strained lately, tension bubbling up in quiet ways that Allison couldn't quite name. She'd shrugged it off, like she always did. In the school's drafty hallway, her phone buzzed with a text from Daphne, her class partner. "Sorry, can't finish our project. Something came up. Good luck, though." Allison stared at the screen, a hollow laugh escaping her. Daphne had been incredibly unreliable all semester, but this felt like a low blow. Their final project, an assignment on a pro bono injury case, was due in less than 24 hours, and Allison was now left to shoulder it alone. "Well," she muttered to herself, "just one more thing to handle." She spent the rest of the day buried in files at the library. The case involved a delivery driver who had been severely injured after slipping on an unshoveled patch of ice outside a high-end hotel. The hotel's legal team argued that the driver was responsible for his own fall, citing a supposed failure to exercise reasonable caution. However, security footage revealed that the icy patch had been reported hours earlier, with no action taken to mitigate the hazard. The driver, visibly struggling to balance an oversized package, had no chance to see or avoid the ice, making the hotel's negligence clear. Allison had initially approached the case with detachment, treating it like an academic puzzle to solve, but as she combed through the hospital records and the driver's deposition, the gravity of his situation hit her. He had been his family's sole breadwinner, and now he couldn't work or afford the physical therapy he desperately needed. His words at the end of his statement lodged in her mind. "I lost everything that day. I lost my life as I knew it. And no one even said sorry. And no one even said sorry." Those were the exact words she had said after something went wrong in the hospital following her own accident all those years ago. She had been trying so hard to avoid these thoughts for years. The sterile smell of the room, the beeping machines, the cold indifference of the staff as they moved on like her pain was just another task on their checklist. But now, reading the driver's statement, those words came rushing back, hitting her like a gust of icy wind. The words mirrored her own unspoken feelings. The pressure to stay silent about pain, the expectation to endure, the quiet anger simmering beneath it all. It was humbling to see the courage it had taken for the client to stand up for himself, and it reminded Allison of something her therapist had said during one of their sessions. "You don't have to hold it all together for everyone else. What would happen if you let yourself feel it?" She pressed her fingers to her temples, feeling the dull ache that never quite left her since the accident. Years later, she still carried the physical pain, along with the anger that the driver had gotten away with it. Law school had felt like a way to reclaim some of what was taken from her, but she often wondered if she was chasing justice for others while avoiding her own. The snow was still falling as Allison stepped out of the law school building, her bag slung over one shoulder and her final case brief submitted to the online portal with seconds to spare. She had triple-checked the citations, tightened the arguments, and uploaded it with the kind of detached focus that left her too drained to feel relief. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. "Daphne." Allison glanced at the screen, her jaw tightening. Whatever Daphne had to say could wait. She shoved the phone back into her coat and turned toward the cafe down the street, its soft glow spilling onto the frosted sidewalk. Inside the cafe, the air was thick with warmth and the hum of life, soft conversations blending with the hiss of steaming milk and the occasional clatter of mugs. Allison ordered tea and found a seat near the window, tucking herself into a corner where she could feel the pulse of the room without being in its center. She didn't open her laptop or pull out her notes. Instead, she sat quietly, letting the heat of the mug warm her hands. She had been so busy trying to keep up with law school, with the demands of her new city, that she hadn't let herself enjoy simple things like this. She had never let herself enjoy things like this at all. The snow outside softened the world into something almost dreamlike, while inside, life buzzed and shifted, the steady motion of people going about their days. For so long, the idea of the world moving on had been hard to bear, especially after the accident, when it felt like time had left her behind. But now, as she watched strangers smile and move through their own quiet routines, she realized she wasn't separate from it anymore. She was part of the world moving on too. She sipped her tea slowly, taking in the scene and the moment, letting herself belong to it without needing to do anything more.